watched Divergent on Friday, so the day it came out, and I have been meaning to film this video, but I haven't had time since Friday to film anything, so I'm finally filming it today, and I'm editing it today, and it's going up today. Woohoo! Excitement!
Hi, I'm back again today. So today, as the title says, is my Divergent movie review. Divergent was a great movie. I loved Divergent. I think it was 75% true to the book and 25% not true to the book. But other than that, I still really liked it. I felt like a lot of the changes that they made for the movie was more for dramatic effect. So the changes that happen in the movie aren't going to change the sequence of events that's supposed to happen in Insurgent and Allegiance. So I'm glad for that. So I felt like a lot of the changes they made was more for entertainment purposes than anything. Unlike Percy Jackson, when they screwed up the first movie and they made all those changes, they completely screwed up the rest of the books. So I'm really glad that Divergent was pretty much true to the book. I mean, it's nothing like The Hunger Games or Catching Fire, but it was great. I felt like they actually really achieved that purpose that they wanted. So because of how they changed the book and how they kind of showed that through the movie, I felt like things did feel more dramatic and felt more kind of exhilarating. It kept you on the edge of your seat. First things first is that when I watched the movie, I totally noticed these two people. Sasha from A Book Utopia showed up in the movie. She was dressed up as one of the Amity people, and Veronica Roth makes a cameo also in the film. It's during the zipline scene, so when they push through the building, she's the first one out, and it's like really brief and you kind of see her for like 3 seconds, but I noticed that it was her. For a second I was looking at her though and I was like, is that Veronica Roth? It was Veronica Roth. It's time for the spoilery part of this movie review, so if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, you guys should leave because I don't want to spoil the movie. So when I come back, you guys better left, okay? And then we'll talk again when you've seen the movie. Alright? Pooh! And I'm back, so it's time for the spoilers. So the very beginning of the film I really liked because it's basically a dialogue from Triss and you just kind of see the city and what it's like, and Triss talks about what the city is like and how people are divided into factions. So the backstory is really nicely set up within the first 5 minutes of the film, which is great because unlike The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, when that was filmed, there's a lot of backstory to these dystopian societies, these fantasy novels, and I feel like you really need to set up that backstory to have the greater and full effect of the movie. And I felt like they did that really well with Divergent because City of Bones missed out on all of the backstory. So I felt like a lot of things they put it into the movie and they just expected you to understand what it was like. But in Divergent, everything was set up perfectly, so even an audience who has never read the book will understand what the society is like. So when the mom died, to me that was the most emotional part of the film. I literally was like sitting there watching and tears just built up in my eyes, and without me even knowing it, it just slowly slid down my face. It was that powerful. Like I said, the changes that they made was more for dramatic effect. For example, is the mom dying. When Triss's mom dies in the book, she just runs past her mom. She doesn't take that second to really process that her mom just died. So her mom gets shot, and when her mom gets shot, she just keeps running. But in the movie, she actually cradles her mom and cries over her and goes, "Mom, don't leave me." So even though that wasn't in the book, I still really liked it because it felt more emotional that time around. Because when her mom died in the book, I didn't cry about it. I was more of like, what? How did her mom die? But in the movie, I was crying my eyes out. So I enjoyed that particular change. I liked how the movie was more about society than it is about the romance. Because if you guys counted, Triss and Four only kissed once. Throughout the entire movie, they only kissed once. In the book, they kissed several times. So I like that it was more about society and they didn't make it into a chick flick. Although they only kissed once and the romance isn't always there, you can totally feel the sexual tension. Several times in the movie, I just wanted to grab them both and go, now kiss. And they kissed once, which was disappointing, but at the same time, I wasn't all that disappointed that they didn't kiss more than once. Because when I watched the first trailer and they showed the makeout scene, scene, I thought, oh no, what is gonna happen to this movie? It's just gonna be about 4 and Tris, and it wasn't, which is a pleasant surprise. The very big change that happened in this movie was the ending. Janine was nowhere near the ending of the book. How Tris finds 4 is that 4 has already been brainwashed and they've put him in charge of the computers that are controlling the Dauntless. And so when Tris finds him, he's all alone, and that's when he attacks her and stuff. But in the movie, 4 is basically being held captive by Janine, and Janine is the one controlling all the computers and stuff. So like I said, dramatic effect, it isn't going to affect what happens in Insurgent. So when Tris is attacking him and Janine is just there, you know, watching, Janine is like, yeah, you're not gonna bring 4 back. And I'm like, no, she's going to bring 4 back. And that scene was so, ooh, when 4 was hitting Tris over and over again, it was so hard to watch because like it wasn't just like a simple shove or anything. He was like punching her and like kicking her in the gut, and ooh, it was so hard to watch. And then how she got him to break out of his trance, she was like, I love you, it's okay, 4, I love you. And I'm just like, oh. That's obviously not how it happens in the book, but she gets him out of his trance. Oh, Theo James is such a great actor. He was so good. I like him as 4. When I first saw him as 4, I thought, no, he is too old. He can't be 4. But he pulled it off well. Same with Shailene. I guess because Shailene is in all these films, I'm seeing her as these people kind of mixed together. But when I saw her in Divergent, I was convinced she was Tris. She's a great actress. She did her part really well. Miles Teller was a fantastic Peter. He is the epitome of Peter because like Miles Teller, some of the characters he's played on films, he's a jerk. He's an asshole. He made me not like Peter even more in the films, which is great because I already don't like Peter enough in the books. Also, Ansel Elgort, he played Caleb really well. There was the part where he was going like, I don't know what's going on, wait, what's going on? And it was such bad acting. It was bad acting, but he was acting bad on purpose because obviously Caleb is pretending that little traitor. It's hard to act, but it's even harder to act badly on purpose. So I thought Ansel did a really great job. So when Caleb was going, I don't know what's going on, I was like, I don't know what's going on, my ass. You totally know what's going on. You were totally betraying Tris with Janine. Ooh, I so don't like Caleb. I feel like Caleb's purpose in the books is just to piss you off. And he survives in Allegiant. Why? So I really enjoyed 4's fear landscape. The only thing, and this was another change they made, was in the books, Tris is helping him get through the fear landscape, but in the movie instead what happens is 4 brings Tris to his fear landscape to show her how a Dauntless would act in a situation rather than how a Divergent would act, because he's trying to help her not get killed during her test. So there's that. The thing that really did bum me out though is that not all of Tris's fears were shown. Only 4 were shown, but the 5th one is debatable because the 5th one is when it might be when she got tied up and the fire was surrounding her. So that's 5 fears, and she has 7 in the book. I was kind of bummed out that not all of it was shown. I guess for the lack of time, they kind of cut it short. Speaking of the lack of timing, it was already like an hour into the movie and we were still in the physical part of the Dauntless training. So we haven't even seen the fear landscapes yet. So I'm like, there's still so much that's going to go on after the fighting scenes. So how are they gonna put that all in like another hour and 20 minutes. So I understand why the fear landscapes were kind of cut shorter, but still I wish I had seen that. The thing that I wanted to see though in the fighting scenes was at one point Tris beats Molly, and that's supposed to be a turning point for everyone in the Dauntless because they see that finally, hey, Tris is actually a force to be reckoned with. She's not this weak abnegation girl that we thought she was, and they didn't show that. I didn't like how they didn't show that she was the first in her class because she did end up being the first in her class after the capture the flag game. I wanted to see that she was the first in the class to show like the people watching it like, hey, Tris is so badass and she's the first in her class just like 4 was. And they didn't announce that, oh, Tris only has 7 fears, which is practically unheard of since 4, who had 4 fears, and that's when everyone was supposed to know what his name meant, and they didn't add that into the film, which again, tiny details, but you know, as reader of Divergent, I wanted to see it come to life, but you know, I can overlook it. So another thing that I wanted to see was I wanted to see Edward get stabbed. I think we see Edward, but he was never formally introduced. Uriah and Zeke didn't show up in this film. Why? Okay, so they're not that important in Divergent, I get it, but they do eventually play a huge part in the next books. So I feel like they should have been introduced, but apparently they're introducing them in Insurgent. Okay, fine, I'll take that. But still, they should have been introduced. Another thing is that when Will dies, when Trish shoots him, it's not as powerful because they don't establish the fact that Will and Christina has a relationship going on. So we don't really get that feeling of Trish feeling like she betrayed her friend. But still, the way they acted that sequence out was really good because Shailene, like, the expressions on her face was like, I don't want to kill you, but I have to kill you, so she kills him. When Triss was getting beat up in the film, they weren't telling her, like, sexual stuff, like, take off your clothes, and they weren't touching her in places, so it wasn't sexual like it was supposed to be in the book. And only Al gets shown to the people, so only Al is the one revealed that was one of the people trying to beat her up, and we don't see that Peter is one of those people. And that frustrates me because that was an important part. Like, I thought it was huge because Peter was humiliated because Ford tells everyone, like, hey, now we all know that you're so threatened by an abnegation girl that you tried to beat her up. And he wasn't humiliated because he wasn't unmasked, but he did get beat up, although the people in the theater probably didn't know that Peter was one of those people, which sucks because it's supposed to make them hate Peter even more. Doesn't happen. The zipline scene, oh my gosh, that was such an awesome part of the film. I loved it so much. It was so emotional, and you see her kind of going through like buildings and stuff. In the book we don't get that much description, but in the film it was just so graphic and so good looking, and I loved it so much. It was so good. The only thing that they did change, again, sorry, I'm kind of stuck up on these changes, is that she pulls a brake to slow down, and in the book she doesn't pull a brake. She unties her harness. She's supposed to fall to the people, and the people are supposed to catch her. I get that they probably didn't do that for stunt purposes, but it would have been cool because it would have been more like, is she gonna fall? Is she gonna land on the people? But still, it was a really good thing, and that was the one thing that I really wanted to see in the whole movie. I like the ending with a train ride. It's exactly how it happens in the book. I am guessing that when Insurgent starts, they're gonna pick up right at that train ride because that is where Insurgent picks up as well in the book. So I'm so excited to watch Insurgent. They say that Divergent was really great, that it made well in the box office, so Insurgent is on the way and it's getting filmed, and I'm so excited to see it. Probably next year. Hopefully next year it'll be out. This movie was so good. I give it a 2 thumbs up. Definitely, you guys should watch it. It will not disappoint you. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the movie, and also please subscribe to me. I love you guys. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye!
Yeah, I'm so tired. I've been filming all week and I'm so tired. It's late. I have to edit this video.